I'm calling this special meeting of the Board of Directors to order. Let's start with the flag salute. To the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What's that? I gotta up my ring. Oh. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Director Cesenia.
Here.
Director Cross.
Here.
Director Hubbard.
Here.
Director Fourcroy.
Here.
President Womack.
Present. So we have a closed session item, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to government code 54956.81. So we'll open up for public comment.
And just one minor note, our general counsel recommended that we say we're making public comment for all items on the agenda, but we will take public comment again later as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Edwards, and I wish to speak to you regarding your closed session item 2A in connection with your real property negotiations. I guess that's my first question. I'm a little confused. Real property negotiations entail discussion about price and terms, and yet you have another item that is actually going to talk about that. And for example, if you don't proceed with the item under 6A, it would make real property discussions moot. Moreover, you haven't gone to the community with this. So I would just suggest that it's seemingly premature to have a real property negotiation and discussion about price and terms. What I will add is that if there was an interest in securing a lower price based on the Naylor Act, that's probably not applicable in this case. The Sunnyside property is 12 acres, as you may know, and there's only a small portion of it, a little over 10%, that is actually in recreation. So the Naylor Act applies more to that. So in terms of a price, the price would be the appraised value, which at this time is $6,050,000. So that's a number that I think is relevant in terms of price, and they're interested in cash. Those are the terms. But moreover, what I would say is if you were given the land, the cost to make improvements for parks and recreation, as an example, and to maintain those improvements would be cost prohibitive in my view. The school district themselves did an analysis, and they estimated that costs would range from anywhere from $30 to $46 million to keep up the site. I don't know if any of you have been up there, but I'd encourage you to walk around all the buildings, the grounds. It needs a lot of work and a lot of money. And the county clearly is not going to be a partner. They have a significant budget deficit. You yourself have no funds really for this purpose. And so what you would be looking at is taxing the community for this effort. And we know that we are already under $160 million of debt associated with the sewer project that we're going to have for another 20 to 25 years, 20 to 30 years. And there's simply no revenue from these types of uses, park and recreation uses, that would support the improvements and maintenance that are being contemplated here. So I understand there may be a town hall meeting. If you have that meeting, I would encourage you to have a tax number that each and every household would pay on an annual basis to fund something like this. Clearly, we're talking tens of millions of dollars. The school district numbers may have been a little high, but you're clearly,
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to close with just a sentence, if I may, Madam
One
President.
sentence.
This is clearly punching above your weight. Even cities are unable or would be unable to tackle something of this magnitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comment? Oh, we're not taking any online. Okay, we'll adjourn to closed session. Okay, so we'll reconvene to open session and I'll report at a closed session, the board appointed an ad hoc committee for further discussions with the school district regarding the Sunnyside School, and the appointees are Matthew and Tom.
Chris,
And
can you please let me know if that meeting's going to be compensatable?
it should be ad hocs are compensatable, are they not?
It just has to be designated at the board level.
Oh, let's designate it.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, so general action item, or do I take public comment or? All right, I'll take public comment on our closed session.
That's okay. Hello, it's
Yes,
Ron
we can hear
Roach,
you now.
longtime resident of Los Osos, and I'm District 3 County Parks Commissioner. I'd like to welcome our new directors, Cross, Womack, and Hubbard. Thank you for serving. I haven't met you before. And as far as the Sunnyside thing, I really support the acquisition of the Sunnyside School. And I really believe that we shouldn't pay for it. The district is highly motivated to get rid of this property and relieve themselves of the liability that it creates owning it. They have all this bond money that they must spend on that property if they own it. And they want to spend it on the schools they're going to keep. And I really believe they should give it away for free because the taxpayers of Los Osos already paid for it once. We shouldn't have to pay for it again. And I sincerely hope the negotiating team is at least asking that. Because it's a huge liability. It's going to cost millions and millions of dollars to just demolish those 1954 classrooms. And the district doesn't want to do that. I also question the involvement of the Wallace Group at this time. I think it's too soon. I think we should leverage county staff for much of the work that the Wallace Group was going to be paid to do. The county just put on a very successful town hall. They didn't pay anybody to do it except county staff. They just did it about the Los Osos Habitat Conservation Plan. So they've proven that they can do that, and they didn't have to pay a consultant to do it. And I think we could do it ourselves. We just spent a couple of years ago a whole bunch of money with the Wallace Group prematurely developing a plan for a dog park we can't build, and I just hate to waste money again. I think we should scale back on that Wallace Group involvement, but I really appreciate that you guys are moving forward with this plan. And I want to get Sunnyside, obviously. And I'd be happy to help with any type of town hall, or I'm sure we'll get a lot of volunteers to do it. If that's what it's going to take. We'll save the taxpayers a lot of money. Thank you.
Would you repeat your name, please?
Ron Roach, ROACH.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just a quick reminder, this is for public
Closed
comments on the
session.
report out of closed
comments. We're
session.
going to go
Okay.
into our open session.
Yeah, we'll have
items here.
another one for what we're talking about. Yes, but that's okay.
All right, sorry.
We're glad to have participation. Okay, so let's move on.
Hey,
Oh,
I
go
would
ahead.
like to make one comment back on that
Okay.
public comment, and that's in and around the Wallace Group's involvement on the dog park conceptual plan, which was a donation
Oh,
of time.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that the community understands and remembers that.
we didn't pay them.
No,
Thank you for clarifying that. I will definitely repeat that.
thank you. Okay, so let's talk about the Sunnyside School status update.
Thank you. Just a quick, I just have a few slides here to talk about where we're at and what we've been up to. A little bit of background, Sunnyside School is approximately 12 acres and it's located in the middle of town. It really presents an amazing opportunity for multiple recreational benefits while continuing some of the uses that are currently up there, the Waldorf School and preschools. And it is unique parcel of this size, location, and zoning to become available for purchase. Back on January 22nd, 2025, the district of CSD received a notice from San Luis Coastal School District stating that, I have to use their language here, the intention to dispose Sunnyside School as an exempt surplus land and the availability to the district for open space. This was a courtesy notification that they provided to the county as well. It's basically their notice of disposal. But the caveat there was that we had 60 days from the receipt of the notice to submit an offer, which would be in the middle of March. It's our understanding that there's been discussions between the school district and the county since July. We did have a group meeting. It was mainly LOCAC, and then myself and Director Fourcroy attended a few of those that we were talking about active recreation in the community when this came up about halfway through the year. So we were aware of it, but there really was no communication to the district itself. The board was provided a brief update on February 6th meeting. That was the same day that Director Fourcroy, Deborah Howe from LOCAC, and myself met with the county. They stated in that meeting, and that was part of the update as well, the county is not in a financial position to purchase the property, but was willing to partner in some way, shape, or form, but that has yet to be determined. And that we would have to be the lead agency in any purchase and anything for ongoing maintenance. At that meeting, February 6th meeting, staff was directed by the board to reach out to investigate technical assistance. This is a large undertaking. We have a very small staff, which is fully booked on other projects. So this was a drop-in project for us to estimate the cost of improvements and ongoing maintenance. We had two recommendations from the county. One was Wallace Group. The other one was RRM. We had worked with Wallace Group before, as indicated. And they are our district engineer. We've been contracted with Wallace Group for 20 years for district engineering services. So they were the natural one for us to go and contact. They responded quickly, and that's how we were underway with them. We did receive a proposal for their work, which included diagramming out a couple of concept plans with the uses from those meetings we had between LOCAC, CSD, and stakeholders, using what we found from those to kind of bubble out on the property what could be done, how much it would cost, for instance, to build a pickleball court, or how much it would cost to build a sports field, and then add operation and maintenance numbers to those as well. Because what we are looking for right now are numbers to present to the community. And that is something that district staff is not capable of putting together in this short period of time. We do have funds in Fund 900. That's our Park and Recs budget. They gave us a range based on, it was kind of a quick put together of a scope of work of $40,000 to $50,000. Talking about the town hall meeting, this was a discussion that came out of the LOCAC district discussions even before this point in time. We knew at some point in time we needed to go out and gain or garner public support, because we know that we're going to have to ask the public for money. The council or the county is not willing to participate financially, maybe at one-time cost, but not on anyway on an ongoing cost, terms of cost. So if the board approves the proposal with Wallace Group, the town hall meeting would be held in late March. We have a couple of dates. We're still trying to nail it down. So it's a quick turnaround as well. You know, we've just got a few weeks here before would need to notice, get promotion behind it, and actually wrap up the Wallace Group work between now and then. And so with that, I'll take any questions or love to hear comments.
Any comments from the board? All right, shall we open up for public comment?
Yes.
We are now open for public comment. Now you're up.
Tom Mayer, Maier, long time county resident since about 1980 or so, and someone who had about 15 years of experience coaching youth sports in basketball and soccer and little league, and my wife in soccer and softball. And we had that personal experience in how important active recreation and parks are to the kids of this community. And we do not have the kind of park facilities, as you know, and as you expressed at the last meeting that you had here in Los Osos, with just a fraction of what we need to have in our community and should have in this community. And I want to tell you why I support this action that is proposed to contract with the Wallace Group. We have the need. This county, I think, has an opportunity at Sunnyside to essentially add very significantly, maybe even double when you think about the open space possibility of that 12 acres. And every bit of that, as a number of people have shared with us from LOCAC with respect to how that open space could be used to meet our various community needs that we have, would be a blessing for this community. And I think it would be the kind of thing that if we can get to where you're intending to go with this contract, to flesh that out more, to get a real defined sense of the good that can be obtained for the dollar amount that it will cost, will be something that this community will support. But we need to have the work put in order to be able to make that vision for this community and make it a choice that they understand is a good one. And it's not only for the kids, you know, it is really for this whole community. There is a potential, I think it was in the Waldorf drawing, for the idea of a possibility of a senior center placed at the Sunnyside location. And that was one of the top needs expressed by the people who went to the county's planning session held back during the summer, asking what are the senior needs, because we're going to come up with a countywide senior plan. And people came, about 50 people or so, and the top need was a senior center. And where would we put it? It's always the question that you have. So doing this when in this such a quick time frame after Supervisor Gibson came to you and said, this is something he knows Los Osos needs, but this county is in a particular situation financially at this point where they cannot do what he wishes it was possible to do. And he's hoping that this community will be interested and able and willing to partner with him to do that. And that's the direction you're going with this. And I support and thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karen Kimura, about 45-year resident of Los Osos. I'm also the president of Los Osos Pickleball Community. And pickleball is a sport that we love, of course, but what we really love is the sense of community in Los Osos. And we need active recreation here, and we need places to do the active recreation. And Sunnyside is just, I think, a golden opportunity. And I'm so proud of you guys for, again, hosting this meeting so quickly after Supervisor Gibson spoke with you. Time is of the essence. And again, we need to move. And thank you for all that you're doing on this. We have a lot of people who I think would actively support this. And I know that for myself and probably all of Los Osos Pickleball, we would be happy to help out. Let us know what we can do. We want to support the community in this whole venture. And again, thank you so much for listening to LOCAC and for listening to the supervisor and the people who've come to talk. The kids need places for the sports, and again, this could be the answer. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Pat Kimball, resident of Los Osos, have 4 daughters. I guess that we spend a lot of time outside. I guess the only thing I'd be mindful of is if there's a way to get a preliminary proposal or preliminary figures from Wallace without having to go all in on that. And maybe that's just like kind of like a due diligence package or something like that. But if there's a way to get kind of a preliminary proposal that you can present to the community, so at least you even know if there's the appetite to accept some kind of expense such as this, 50 grand, it's just, it's a decent amount of money in, or whatever it is. What was the proposal for Wallace? Was RRM was like 100 or what was,
So it was for 40 to 50,000.
40, 50. Yeah. So it's just a lot of money. So I just didn't know if there's any way that they could give you some preliminary numbers, probably pretty quickly on engineer's estimate format or something like that. And then also if you guys are highly motivated to do it, is there any way that some creative way where the school could, I mean, obviously they're trying to crash out and limit their liability from an ongoing operating expense statement, and also maybe from a mitigation like demolishing or kind of just turning the site, making it new again or whatever. But just if there's a way to be creative about funding sources, because it's going to be a lot of money, and it's going to be, first of all, you got the acquisition, it's going to be what, 4 million, something like that. And then you're going to have to demo it, which is going to be another couple million. And the county is just really leaving us up, downriver without a paddle, or is it upriver without a paddle? One or the other. But it's just frustrating that we pay all this money in taxes, our property taxes, and it's pretty much, they're just saying, oh, well, it's your deal. Just like Tri-W, we got the shaft on that one too, and then, so we ended up paying for that. And where's that, we can walk around on it, which is cool. It's cool property, but I don't think I would vote to spend $3 million on something that just, we don't really get to utilize. So, if there's some creative ways that we can find some funding sources, I mean, to make this happen, that would be great. So that would just be my take. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Edwards, and I'm a 48-year resident of Los Osos. And I mention that not for the longevity, but for the fact that for that 48 years, that's as long as this community has been wanting a downtown, an urban center that would provide a lot of uses that were all walkable, and we could create a vibrancy that we don't have today. The redevelopment and creation of a town center at the Sunnyside site, I believe, is the highest and best use for the property. Not only would it provide a number of uses we don't have today, such as senior housing, a med stop, child and adult daycare, and other uses, it would be a catalyst for an otherwise struggling downtown. We don't have an attractive downtown. I just can't imagine keeping this the way it is. And unfortunately, you heard about the Tri-W site. That was actually, that 11-acre parcel was intended to be kind of the downtown urban core, but we know that's been committed to open space and is no longer available. This really is our last chance to create a downtown urban core with a property of this size. And in terms of parks and rec uses, it's not ideal. It's not flat by any stretch. The property from top to bottom is over 50 feet in elevation change. So if you want to adapt it for those uses, it could cost quite a bit of money. And I think we really need to focus on the district's priorities and this community's priorities, which include water, as an example. We're interested in participating in the state water project. That's going to be extremely expensive just to design the pipeline, then build the pipeline, secure the water entitlements. We also have a fire tax that is coming. So to me, the fundamental or primary question is, does this community have an appetite for any new tax for Parks and Rec? I would submit to you respectfully, they do not. And that would, to me, would be the first thing to do, is take their temperature, take the community's temperature, if they are willing to pay anything additional. Again, I don't think they would. Any tax is going to be significant, well beyond what you're going to be presenting to them in the very near future in terms of a fire tax. So I think this effort is a bit quixotic, and I would encourage you really to pull the plug at this point. Thank you.
I do have one written in comment when public comment in the boardroom is done.
Oh, go ahead and read it.
Perfect. It's from Craig Baltimore. He says, 2 questions. The first question directly applies to the agenda item in the negotiations. KSBY in an article on January 29th, 2005 states regarding the sale of 2 properties, regarding the sale of the 2 properties by the school district. Both sites are in need of major modernization, between $20 to $30 million per site. We don't have the funds to pay for those modernizations. Our current bond funds will be needed for our current schools, Pickerton said. That same article puts a price at $6 million for Sunnyside. The true cost appears to be $25 million. The school district's assistant superintendent said there are big time costs that the school district just does not have money for. As part of the cost to purchase Sunnyside Elementary School, how are the additional $20 million in costs for current deficiencies being considered or negotiated? It could be argued that the school district should be paying the CSD to take the property off their hands, for it is a responsibility of the government to properly maintain facilities that are in use. The second is managing such a large property is not a minor task. Does the CSD have the personnel to properly manage the property? If not, how will it be properly managed?
Thank you. Is that the end?
Yeah, that's it.
Good questions. One more.
That last online questions were very, I like those. They're good examples. And she's right. They should just pay us to take it. But I am not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. I am fully supportive of this board's actions to acquire the property. I just think we should leverage county resources a little more. Like I called Sean Cooper and asked him what maintenance costs for a park, and he told me, this was just yesterday, the general rule of thumb is it's 20,000 per acre annually for park space, which only includes buildings like a bathroom. No, not like the buildings that are up there. He told me this, our community park right here runs $124,000 a year annually to maintain it, but it's offset. They generate revenue of about 14,000 a year by renting out the facilities. And so that's something we should definitely consider in our master plan for Sunnyside is revenue generation by renting out the facilities. Yeah, that's just it. Because they do generate revenue to offset the cost of their maintenance. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, one more.
Richard Margetson, something I just thought of, if the county was able to somehow put a finance packet together where we could pay it off over time. I mean, they owe this community. Could the residual or the surplus each year from the solid waste contract, which is going to grow substantially in the future, could that be used for something like this as a community-wide amenity, since solid waste is paid for by the entire community, or does that money have to stay with a purpose for related to solid waste collection? Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, no,
sorry.
I think one time.
Just bear with me. So the county parks just contracted, just FYI.
Hey, Ron, this is
No.
inappropriate. I'm sorry. You had your chance.
All right, thanks for all the public comment. Bring it back to the board.
Real quick on
Thank you.
Richard's question about the franchise fee. Things have gotten really, I'm pretty sure it couldn't be used. There was a case up in Oakland, I believe it was, where franchise fees are now very restricted on their use, even if it's paid district-wide.
I wanted to point out though, that it could be used to, for instance, pay bills, offset bills for a month or something like that, which would free up household income for other things.
That's true. And that's something we're looking at as that builds, that fund builds.
Okay. Well, does anyone else have any comments or closing comments?
I kind of like what we heard tonight. I mean, I want this to happen. I don't mind reminding the county that maybe they're not in as great a negotiating position as they think for a full price offer. If they have liabilities with the property that they could avoid.
The county or the school district?
School district. I mean, part of me, the first thought I had was, didn't we already pay for that? Our taxpayers, we've bought that. So I don't know how this all works, but I'd really like to see a real reduction in price. If we're going to be the ones picking up sole responsibility for operations and maintenance. And we certainly need to gauge the community interest the very first, and that's why we're moving quickly.
I guess my only issue with, I mean, I can understand the argument, but if they were to say, not go with the public and then offer it privately, what could they get? So we're also kind of competing against that. And I think we're going to get it for less than what they could get it for.
Well, I'm hoping so. I guess what I'm saying is, I would like to lean on the school district. They live here. They are us. We are them. Do the right thing for the community.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get to that point where we're talking about these different options and ways to make a deal happen. And I'm all in favor of hiring the Wallace Group and having a professional level preliminary conceptual plan done so we can communicate with the public. I mean, this town hall meeting is critical for community outreach to exactly that, gauge support and pass along the information as that we have, and that financial support is needed. If the community wants this, the community in one way, shape, or form is going to have to be willing to step up to do that. We don't know all of the details about exactly how much yet. We're working, part of what Wallace is going to do, part of their scope is to give us budgetary estimates for some of the improvements in O&M costs, which can be used towards that goal. But I want to also just highlight the other purpose of these next few weeks, and what what's up here for discussion on the agenda is to also attract the participation of the county. I mean, we really need more than Bruce Gibson to say yes to this. It would be great to have a good partnership. So we need to show as a community that if we want this, we support it. We know we're going to have to pay for some or parts of it. And I think that would go a long way in attracting that kind of participation and cooperation.
Thank you.
I think that's a good point, that we need not just Bruce, we need the rest of the county supervisors to be working with us.
So I have a quick question. Do we have any plans for outreach to kind of, how are we going to try to get the community to come to our
Well, we've got our
town
normal
hall?
avenues, but we have great people, like Karen mentioned, pickleball association, sports leagues. We have where, we can reach 900 families potentially. So we'll start hitting every stakeholder group we've talked to this past year to get the word out, plus our normal.
The Chamber's Wednesday e-blast, there's all kinds of
And,
things.
Estero Bay News they're always looking for good stories like this. So anyway, we'll do our best.
Okay, I was just curious. All right, any other question or comments?
Well, I'll move that the board approve expenditures from Fund 900 to support the inquiry into purchasing Sunnyside School and authorize the general manager to execute an agreement with the Wallace Group for preliminary design, project cost estimates, and community outreach services.
I'll second that. We need to move quickly on this and we just can't ask any more of Ron to put on extra loads. So, yeah, we need to move this ahead. I'll second that.
Okay. Do we need a roll call or?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I think that's all.
That's it for the agenda tonight.
Right, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone who came and
Thank you.
spoke at our meeting. Appreciate it.